मयि श्री गुरवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले सोऽयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतः पदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Om Tat Sat. That is the title of today's class. So, this is the only hymn or mantra that is given in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, specifically as an instruction for people to recite. So we will go into the details of that today. So many of you or most of you may or may not be familiar with the Bhagavad Gita, but the Bhagavad Gita is a conversation between Arjuna and Krishna. And the most core or the basic philosophy of Bhagavad Gita is bhakti. Bhakti means devotion to Bhagavan or to the Supreme Lord, Shri Krishna. And in the very center of the Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters. In the 9th chapter, which is the middle chapter, Shri Krishna gives this section towards the end of the 9th chapter, starting from verse number 26 till the end, 34, the core message of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And these are some of the most important verses of the Bhagavad Gita. So I have selected one verse from here which indicates what is the core message of Bhagavad Gita. So some of these verses we can recite so that we have the opportunity and benefit of reciting the words spoken by Shri Krishna. And then we can discuss some of these. And the goal for today is to understand how to execute in a very practical manner this process of bhakti, in a very practical manner. And 1 hour is not enough to do that, but I will try to give some basic understanding. Many devotees of our temple do more elaborate classes and series throughout the week in various formats. So you can contact the temple devotees and they can share with you and of all the opportunities to understand Bhagavad Gita in more detail. And they happen throughout the city in various places across the city. So and even online and so on. So if you are interested, then you should definitely take advantage of all the opportunities that are available. So, let us recite this verse. Yad karoshi yad ashnashi yad juhoshi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tad kurushva madarpanam. So what it means, so the translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Whatever you do, yad karoshi, whatever you eat, yad ashnasi, whatever you offer, yad juhoshi, or give away, dadasi yat, and whatever austerities you perform, yad tapasyasi, do that, O son of Kunti, Kaunteya, as an offering to me. Tad kurushva mad arpanam. So it's fairly straightforward. So what is being said is that no need to change anything externally. You are doing various things in your life. Whatever you do, and that actually encompasses everything, then yad ashnasi, whatever you eat, it's a subset of what you do. Eating is a subset of what we do, giving to somebody, etc. So it's all among that. Whatever we do, tad kurushva, do that. Mad arpanam, Shri Krishna is speaking Bhagavad Gita. So mad means to me, which means to Shri Krishna, arpanam. So arpan everything to Krishna. Give everything or do it as an offering, as a giving, as an act of giving to Shri Krishna. So basically what this shloka is saying, in this shloka Shri Krishna is saying that externally keep doing whatever you are doing, but in your mind, in your consciousness, do it as an offering to me. In your mind, you think that I am doing it to make Shri Krishna happy. And that is bhakti. So bhakti is very simple and straightforward. And bhakti does not require us to give up our family life. It does not require us to go to the forest or to the mountains and give up eating, stand upside down. None of those things which you might have seen in movies or TV serials or comic books. Bhakti actually is very straightforward and very simple. Just keep doing whatever you are doing. But keep Shri Krishna in your mind while doing that. That's it. So it's just a change of heart, a change of our consciousness. That's why this society is called International Society for Krishna Consciousness. All that is being asked is to change or alter or upgrade our consciousness, nothing else. However, today I want to take it on a slightly different angle. So this is the core message, you can understand or just take it from me, that this is the core message of Bhagavad Gita. So whatever you do, so somebody can ask, so I have framed this discussion as a series of question answers. What if, like a devil's advocate. So somebody could ask, even sinful actions? Many of us are doing sinful actions, simple ones. Nobody is murdering people or going and shooting in college campuses. Our prayers to all the affected people who have recently been a target of such violence, which is completely senseless. So, but we do our little bit sinful activities like lying or, whatever else, things that we know are not good, just morally wrong things. Can even those be offered to Sri Krishna? That would be a question to ask, because Sri Krishna is saying, whatever you do. So, then to answer this, Sri Krishna says what he likes us to do. Okay, so he even specifies that what I want you to do. It's not whatever you do, but a certain category of what you should be doing. So then in this other verse, no need to recite this, I will recite this. Yasman no dvijate loko, lokan no dvijate chayah, harsha marsha bhayo dvaigair, mukto yah sachame priyaha. So what is being said here is that he by whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equipoised in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety, is very dear to me. Such a me priyaha. So, yasma no dvijate loko means that by whom no one is put into difficulty. Such a person is very dear to me. So by stealing or lying, are we putting others into difficulty? Generally, yes. So Sri Krishna is saying, don't, such a person who does not do these things is very dear to me. So now he is putting some bounds into what he wants us, what kinds of activities he wants us to do, and what kinds of activities he does not want us to do. So now we get a sense that, or we get a sort of a bounded sense of the previous verse, which is whatever you do, it's not just a blanket, whatever you do, but in the domain of goodness. Then one can ask, okay, that's very good. So now we get a more, a better sense of what Krishna wants us to do, but how to practically implement this. So for that, in 13th chapter, and I don't have all the 5 verses because of lack of time, Sri Krishna lists 20 qualities of bhakti. This is very nice series of verses, 5 verses, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. I just have the first one here, 8th one, which says what qualities Krishna wants us to develop and how we can therefore practically implement this verse, that not putting others into difficulty. So this verse says, amanitvam adambhitvam ahimsa kshantir arjavam acharyopasanam shaucham sthairyam atma vinigraha. So some of these words you can probably recognize. One of the very clear words that everybody can, I feel, recognize is ahimsa. Isn't it? So ahimsa means non-violence. Mahatma Gandhi's whole entire movement, even Martin Luther King, who was inspired by Mahatma Gandhi and Nelson Mandela and all those movements, big political movements which resulted in the removal of oppression in various political regimes, they were achieved, the removal of those things. So ahimsa is non-violence. Amanitvam, that having no man. Man means pride, therefore pridelessness, or similar is adambhitvam, amanitvam, adambhitvam, humility and pridelessness. Ahimsa, kshantir, kshantir means tolerance. So not becoming angry at when, on the first instance when somebody provokes you, and you just explode. So that is kshantir. Arjavam, simplicity. So all these qualities are mentioned here which make one a good person. So Sri Krishna says, I like when my devotees, in the process of performing bhakti or executing the bhakti yoga, they develop these qualities. If that was not enough, then Sri Krishna goes on to list 26 more qualities in the 16th chapter. In the 16th chapter, these are 3 verses, the first 3 verses of 16th chapter. Very beautiful set of qualities. And I can recite this again. Abhayam sattva samshuddhir jnana yoga vivasthitihi Danam damascha yagyascha swadhyayas ahimsa, again you can see ahimsa coming again. Satyam, that's very, understandable, truthfulness. So you must always be truthful, therefore no lying. Akrodhas, again the similar connection to tolerance, that not becoming angry. Krodha means angry, therefore akrodha. So ahimsa, satyam, akrodhas, tyagah, shantir, apaishunam, daya means kindness or being kind or compassionate to others. Daya bhuteshu aloluptvam, mardavam hrir achapalam, tejah kshama dhritih shaucham, adroho nati manita, bhavanti sampadam daivim, abhijatasya bharata. So these are Daivi Sampada, these are the divine qualities that Krishna wants us to develop. And many of these we can recognize. Kshama means again forgiveness. Shaucham, cleanliness. Na ati manita, here you can see na ati manita. It is similar to amanitvam in the first. Amanitvam means no pride. And na ati manita, at least start by not having too much pride. Na ati manita. So like this, Shri Krishna is describing 26 qualities of bhakti. But again, these are just names of qualities. You should develop this, you should develop this, you should develop this. So all these are good qualities in a person. And a bhakta cannot be a bad person. A bhakta, a devotee, must at the same time be a good person. In all the shastras, in all the Puranas, in all the epics that have, all the literatures that exist, these two aspects of being a bhakta of Bhagavan, which mean who always keeps Bhagavan in his heart, and at the same time being a good person, are always together. Tell me one example where a person with very bad qualities is also a bhakta. And give me one example where a bhakta does not have good qualities. One of the most celebrated bhakta of Bhagavan is Prahlad ji, the little boy who was the son of Hiranyakashipu. He had such good qualities. Even to his own father who was trying to kill him, he was so tolerant, so kind, so sweet in his speaking. Every time he would meet his father, he would touch his feet, even though that person is trying to kill him. So these are like unimaginable extents to which a devotee acts or executes these good qualities. We can at least learn from them and aspire, be inspired to reach some level like that. Maybe not fully like that, but at least something we can try to implement in our lives. Similarly, Yudhishthir Maharaj, the Pandavas, how much injustice they faced, but still they were the personification of all good qualities. So many other examples exist of devotees who also are completely always synonymous with being very good people, having these good qualities. Now please keep in mind one thing as we are going along, that just having good qualities does not mean that one is a bhakta. You will find many people in your life who are very, very, very good people, but they have, and we respect those people, we love those people, we want to be friends with them, we want to be around such people, we want to be like them. But it does not mean that they may always or they may at all carry Bhagavan or God in their hearts. They may be atheist, and that's fine, that is their choice. But here what I'm trying to say is that one who is a devotee is always a good person. It may not be true the other way around, that a good person may or may not be a devotee. I hope you are getting that. It's a one-way relation. All right? So, the goal where we started off this discussion is who is a bhakta, or what is the core essence of bhakti, is to do everything. Yad karoshi, tad kurushva mad arpanam. Do it as an offering to me. That was the core essence of who a devotee is. Then we asked the question, whatever we do, even sinful activities? No, not sinful activities. A devotee who wants to, or somebody who wants to be a devotee, must parallelly try to develop good qualities, because being a devotee and having bad qualities or sinful qualities do not go together. Or Krishna is clearly saying, I do not like somebody calling himself my devotee and going around and doing sinful activities. So if you want to be called as my devotee, if you want to please me, if you want this statement to be true, sacha me priyaha, which means you want to become dear to me. If we want to become dear to Bhagavan, we must do what he wants. Just like with any person, if you want your spouse to love you genuinely from the heart, and if she or he has certain likes and dislikes, we try to go along with it. Or a friend, or and then it's a give and take relationship. Bhagavan also adjusts according to our likes and dislikes, but he is clearly saying here, these are the things that I really like in my devotee, and he is giving a long list of such qualities. And the goal is that we want to become a nice bhakta, a nice devotee. That's the assumption here, and I hope that's why you are sitting here in this class. So then, the question that can be asked is how to practically develop these qualities. These are the names of these qualities are given here, 26 and 20. Some are common, so maybe we have 30, 35 good qualities. Give me do's and don'ts. How to become or how to practically develop these qualities. Now, Bhagavad Gita is a very short book. It was spoken on the battlefield before a huge world war was about to begin. So the details of how to actually become a good person are not fully given in the Bhagavad Gita. And you must understand, Bhagavan is speaking Bhagavad Gita on the battlefield, and of course he is speaking it on the battlefield to Arjuna in a specific situation, but at the same time he is creating Shastra right at that moment. A very important Shastra, a very important literature is being created right at that time. And Bhagavan knows that. He is speaking Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, but he knows that he is speaking to the entire world. Practical do's and don'ts, Bhagavan says this very important verse, that Shastra, other Shastra, and all of these which I will mention have been mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita itself. So what does he say? We can recite this verse. Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Karya Vyavasthitau Gyatva Shastra Vidhanoktam Karma Kartum Iharhasi. So, Bhagavan at the end of that chapter, so if you remember this 26 qualities, what was in the beginning of the 16th chapter, at the end of the chapter, Bhagavan Krishna says that Tasmat, therefore, based on Shastram Pramana, Karya, this is a joint word, Karya, Akarya. What it breaks down into is Karya and Akarya, means do's and don'ts. Translated in a simplistic way. Karya means what you should do, Akarya means what you should avoid doing, which means don'ts. Vyavasthitau, determine. So how you should determine what to do and what not to do, or how you should determine do's and don'ts? What is being said here? How? Yes? in scriptures. So, but are the details given here? No, details are not given here, just a pointer is given because Bhagavad Gita is a short scripture. And says, if you want the details of do's and don'ts, go refer to the Shastra. And which Shastra? We will come to that. There are two, I have this in probably in the next slide. There are three basic pillars of Shastra in our Vedic understanding, or what is known as our Sanatana Dharma. They are known as the Prasthana Trayi. Shri Nitai Satchidanand Dev Bhagwan ki Jai. So Shri Nitai Satchidanand here are none other than Shri Krishna and Balaram. So there are three basic pillars of Sanatana Dharma: the Upanishads, the Brahma Sutras, and the Bhagavad Gita. And all three have the exact same message. And today what we are reading from is the Bhagavad Gita. And among these three, Bhagavad Gita has been spoken the most recently. The remaining two, the Upanishads and the Brahma Sutras, have existed in exactly the same form from beginningless time. The Brahma Sutras and the Upanishads both have been also mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. In the 10th chapter, in the 9th chapter, Bhagavan Krishna names the Vedas, and Upanishads are the part of the Vedas. In the 13th chapter, Bhagavan Krishna refers to the Brahma Sutras. So both of these have already been mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, but a more practical, a more easy to understand, the third pillar Bhagavan is creating right at the battlefield of Kurukshetra, called the Bhagavad Gita, and giving it to Arjuna. So he is creating Shastra at this point. So Bhagavan at this point is saying that to know the do's and don'ts, go refer to the previous Shastras, which would mean the Upanishads and the Brahma Sutras. But how many of us have read them? We have not read those Shastras. So how do we understand what to do, what not to do? You are giving a pointer to something which we don't have access to. And these are very complex Shastras, and we cannot understand the do's and don'ts from this. Then in the 17th chapter, Bhagavan makes it very easy for us. Bhagavan says, I am creating Shastra right now. And Bhagavad Gita is the third Shastra. I already talked about the three pillars of Shastra, Prasthana Trayi. And Bhagavan says, let me codify at least some of the do's and don'ts right here in the Bhagavad Gita itself. So he dedicates one whole chapter, chapter 17, on codifying. These are codes because Bhagavad Gita is a pillar, is a Prasthana Trayi. It's one of the three foundational pillars of Sanatana Dharma. So he dedicates an entire chapter to many do's and don'ts. And there are four basic or four very fundamental activities that we do in our life. So, Bhagavan Shri Krishna begins by saying, Aharastva api sarvasya travidho bhavati priyaha yagyas tapas tatha danam tesham bhedam imam shrinu. So Bhagavan Krishna says there are these four types of things, general categories of things that people do: ahara, yagya, tapa, and dana. All these things were mentioned in the qualities as well, that you must do yagya, you must do tapa, you must do dana. These are also kind of like qualities. And ahar means the eating, and that was also mentioned, yad karoshi, yad ashnasi. Ashnasi means whatever you eat. So ahar. So all these things Bhagavan is going to give what is a good way to do and what is a not so good way to do these activities. Now, since our time here in this class is quite short as well, so we will not have time to go through the entire 17th chapter. 17th chapter is one of the most practical chapters of the Bhagavad Gita because everybody likes lists of do's and don'ts. And it has a very nice list of do's and don'ts. So I have picked 2 sample verses to give you a sample, to give you a taste of what kind of do's and don'ts Bhagavan mentions in the Bhagavad Gita. So a very important, very sweet verse which we can recite is how to speak. How many of us have done damage in our life by misspeaking? These days we don't shoot arrows or guns, many people, right? But it is said that words hurt more than arrows, isn't it? So therefore, how to speak is a very important attribute of do's and don'ts. And Sri Krishna in the 17th verse is giving a very beautiful verse of how to speak. So we can recite this. Anudvega karam vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat swadhyayabhyasanam chaiva vangmayam tapa uchyate. So, vangmayam means vak, or in the act of speaking. What is the best way of speaking? So what Bhagavan is saying, anudvega karam vakyam. That, so speak such words that are not agitating to others. Okay? So dvega means to getting agitated. Anudvega means something that does not agitate. Karam means which does not agitate. Such vakyam or such words one must speak. So again, it's an art. It's not something, at least in my experience, that one can develop overnight. This is not a magic formula. This is not some secret sauce that now you have. But Bhagavan is giving us the ideal that we must try to develop, and it takes time to develop. It takes practice. So, but all of that starts with a desire. And the desire also begins, sometimes the desire is there, but when the moment comes, we forget. So constant reminder that whenever I speak something, one must memorize this verse and make it a habit in one's life that when one is about to speak something, especially in a provoking situation. Now speaking not like, speaking like you have gone to a store and you are asking what's the price of this. Not like in any normal conversation, but speaking means when we are agitated or provoked, or we are advising someone. Somebody has come to some of these important conversations. So how to advise instead of saying that, oh, you have done everything wrong, or something like that. So keep this in mind and try to implement slowly and slowly. So something that will not agitate. Now, if you have to give even a harsh message, if you have to show the truth, because sometimes, nobody likes, or you would not be, there are people who are yes men. They will say, oh, everything is good, everything is good. But then that person is not being helped. So a good doctor is one who will tell the truth. You have this disease. He will not say, oh, everything is good, you don't need any medicine, or you don't need surgery. A good doctor is one who will tell the truth, an honest doctor. These days, honest or dishonesty means the other way. They will tell you you have a lot of problems so that they can get a lot of money. So, speech that is not agitating to others. Speaking and then satyam, but you have to speak the truth. It's not about twisting the truth completely, then it is very easy to speak sweetly. So how to speak the truth, yet in a palatable manner. Priya hitam. So priya and hitam, that you must speak in a loving manner, in a pleasing manner, and also beneficial, in a way that will actually benefit the person. Sometimes we speak the truth and we try to benefit the person, but the way we speak, the person says, just forget it. This guy is like, I can't tolerate him. I can't, they filter you out. So even though your heart is there to help them, but the way you spoke, they rejected you or they closed their ears to you. So speak in a way that will actually cause benefit to them. So if you see that they are not able to take the harshness of the truth, then maybe do it in parts. Just like a doctor, if it's a harsh medicine, he will start with a small dose and then he will say 1 week do this, then next week do double the dosage, then slowly increase it. And that way you are able to tolerate it, you are able to accept it. So there are various ways. All that has obviously not been described in this one verse. So there is definitely a lot more, but the 17th chapter contains very nice instructions like this. And how does all that come? That art of speaking something which is truthful, yet useful in a pleasing manner, which does not drive the other person away, comes from Swadhyaya and Abhyasanam. So Swadhyaya, Abhyasanam, Chaiva. So two more things are there. From Swadhyaya of scriptures. The scriptures have so many more details of how to refine our speaking. And then Abhyasa means practice. Practice this. But practice begins with intention and remembrance. That first I have to have the intention. If your intention is I want to hurt this guy, then there is no point. You'll anyway go ahead and you'll be just that will be the outcome. But if first there has to be intention and there has to be the remembrance that yes, at the moment I shouldn't forget the practice that I should put into what I have learned and put it into practice in that moment. So practice is very important, and practice helps us to actually implement when the time comes, when the actual time comes. Practice is when you do it when there is the real situation does not exist. That is practice. Like in cricket, you do practice, the real match is not the practice. The match is when you have to actually go win. So this is about how to speak. Another very important activity is how to give. We want to give things to others. So we can recite this verse also. Datavyam iti yaddanam diyate anupakarine deshe kale cha patre cha Taddanam satvikam smritam. So this kind of dan, last line says satvika smritam, is called as satvik, or is the good kind of dan. What kind of dan? That datavyam, that must be given as a sense of duty. Many times we should give. We know we should be giving, but we just, in that moment, we back out. Now this of course assumes that there is no enforcement. We all pay our taxes. Anybody here has not paid their taxes? Tax fraud? No. That is because there is very strong enforcement. If you don't pay, then they'll come after you. There are many people, there are countries where enforcement is not so hard, and you find that, it results in many people not paying their taxes. So that is one case of giving. But giving when there is no enforcement. So like giving in charity is one such kind of dan, is one such kind of area where you are expected to give, like you are sitting here in the temple. Everybody gets a lot of benefit by coming to the temple. You get to hear instructive things at the temple. You get to be in a nice, serene, peaceful environment. You get to make very good quality friends, not friends who will backstab you. You get nice prasad, you get nice shelter, you get, to make spiritual progress. So one must give to the temple. How many people do that? Or one day they will feel very inspired and then say, oh, next week I will give $500. So nice. But next week, okay, $250. Then by the time you actually walk up to the credit card machine and actually swipe your card, it becomes 108. So, and if you delay more, so this, this nyaya, there is this, I don't remember the exact verse, when some bhikshuk knocks at your door, before that you decide that I will give him 1 bag of rice. When the knock comes and you look, you may have a bag, but it's, down in the basement. Oh, I cannot carry it from down. I have half a bag upstairs. Then you start to pull it out. Oh, I have to cook today also. So half a bag let me give and half a bag I will keep. Oh, then you give, oh no, there is something else I have to. So by the time you actually give, you just give 1 handful only from the point where you decided I will give 1 bag. So this is how our mind works, that we know we must give something, but we pull back. So that is not as a matter of duty, then a lot of our greed and our mentality for our own gratification takes precedence over the duty of giving. So Bhagavad Gita is saying that should not be the case. Exactly whatever is meant to be given as per our duty, we should give. We should not let this kind of a sliding scale take effect in our lives. And then, diyate anupakarine. So, upakar means like a favor. So it means I gave you, and there is a implicit expectation. Upkar kiya hai na? So मैंने इतना उपकार किया. So it means now I will get it back. So doing it like a mentality of like I have done a favor. Now I'll write it in my account book of favors. And when the time comes, I will call on the favor. I did this, now I'm calling out the favor, please do this for me. So that is basically the point, is doing it as an expectation. So anupakarine, not with this mentality of expectation of return. So that kind of dan should be done without any expectation of return. And deshe, kale and patre cha. At the right place or at the right location, desh, at the right time, and to the right recipient. So if you have to, give charity or some donation, give it to the needful, give it to the right. So we may, again, these points are mixed a little bit. You may give, I have seen many organizations where 80% of the charity that you give is taken away as administrative fees. Only 20% goes to the actual needy. So you may want to do that, or you may actually, it takes little more effort to actually go and give in a way that 100% of your money or your charity goes to the needy people. So giving to the right person, the right place, the right time. Again, there are many details behind this, which we don't have time to go into. So, but that's what it is meant here, for the right cause. So, tad danam satvikam smritam. Such dan is of high quality. But coming to the original point, so these are some of the practical do's and don'ts of how to become a good person. But this is not enough. And then in Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna says, the 17th chapter, after he describes so many do's and don'ts, he says that without spiritualizing our actions, don't forget yad karoshi yad ashnashi, but don't forget tad kurushva mad arpanam. So he gives another very practical way of thinking of Bhagavan and then doing the activity. And that is what today's class was based on, Om Tat Sat. So in the 23rd verse of the 17th chapter, Shri Krishna gives this hymn or mantra, and we can recite this. Om Tat Sat iti nirdesho Brahmanas trividhas smritah Brahmanastena vedascha Yagyascha vihitah pura. So, translation is, from the beginning of creation, the three words Om Tat Sat were used to indicate the supreme absolute truth. So all three words, Om, Tat and Sat, indicate Bhagavan individually. So when we say Om Tat Sat, we are three times taking the name of Bhagavan. Okay? These three symbolic representations were used by the Brahmanas while doing all the activities. So what do Brahmanas do? Chanting the hymns of the Vedas, during sacrifices. So what it means is that when we are doing various activities, we should also chant Om Tat Sat for the satisfaction of the Supreme. Same thing, Tad Kurushva Madarpanam. That do it as an offering to me and I will be pleased, Bhagavan says. So here Bhagavan is now giving a direct practical way of how to do things. So do your whatever activity that one does, attach Om Tat Sat to it. Now, not mechanically, not as, okay, fine. Like they say, fake it till you make it. So if the best is from your heart, say Om Tat Sat. At the beginning of the activity, in the middle of the activity, at the end of the activity, and as many times as possible during the activity. That is what is said here. During the sacrifices, while chanting the hymns, Om Tat Sat, Om Tat Sat, Om Tat Sat. So this is the verse, we will go into the... So accompanying all actions with Om Tat Sat. That is Sri Krishna's instruction. So we must, this is where the connection between a good person and a bhakta comes. A good person may still do those activities. Remember I was telling that a good person may not be a devotee. He may be an atheist. And that's fine. Such people are also respectable. The world is full of bad and sinful people. At least we must respect the fact that they are good people. The next level is also to become a devotee of Bhagavan. And this is the key to becoming a bhakta of Bhagavan, and spiritualizing our consciousness and spiritualizing our activity is to continue to do those good activities, not sinful, good activities. Just like we discussed how to speak in a nice way, how to give in a nice way. But at the same time, that's not enough. Accompany it with the spiritual mantra, Om Tat Sat, from the heart. And in the beginning, as a practice, if from the heart is not possible, at least lip service is possible. In America, I have seen this is a very nice thing. 2 words, which are taught from the childhood. What are those? Please and thank you. Now everybody is so programmed. Now, I don't know, but many times in your heart, you may not feel like saying please. You may feel like, it's my right. Why should I say please? I have paid $500 for the plane ticket and still I have to say, please, can I have water? I should rather say, hey, give me water. See, $500 ticket. Business class ticket. Please, those economy class people should say please, but that's not how it works. So we say please. Krishna. So, point is, best is to say please anyway, it's a nice thing. What's the loss in just, saying that? But if that is not possible, at least from the lips we can say. Like that we can practice, and then hopefully one day we will be able to say it from the heart also. Okay? Sometimes the air hostess you asked for water and they may bring after half an hour. You don't feel like saying thank you. Is this something to be thankful about? But you still say thank you at least. So, similarly, we must start our spiritual practice by accompanying Om Tat Sat, even if we don't feel from the heart, but the highest level is to feel it from the heart. And we will read some key portions of the commentary or purport by Srila Prabhupada and we'll end the class. So Srila Prabhupada writes in the commentary, it has been explained that penance, sacrifice, charity, foods, etc. are divided into three categories, the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So we are supposed to be in the mode of goodness, being good, doing the activities in a good way. But whether first class, second class, or third class, they are all conditioned, contaminated by the modes of material nature. But when they are aimed at the supreme, which means when we accompany those activities with Om Tat Sat, and that means the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Eternal, they become means for spiritual elevation. So when we accompany our activities with Om Tat Sat, those activities become the means for spiritual elevation, which means those activities become spiritualized. But again, they must be of the good category. In the scriptural injunctions, such an objective is indicated. These three words, Om Tat Sat, particularly indicate the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like I explained, these three words, Om, Tat, and Sat, all refer to Bhagavan. One who acts without following the regulations of the scriptures will not attain the absolute truth. He will get some temporary result, but not the ultimate end of life. The conclusion is that the performance of charity, sacrifice, and penance must be done in the mode of goodness. So Srila Prabhupada is writing in the purport that we must not do these activities in a sinful way, but in a good way. Performed in a mode of passion or ignorance, they are certainly inferior in quality. And he's saying not only us, what to speak of us, ordinary human beings, even Brahmaji, the first created living entity, performed sacrifices. When he did that, he indicated by these three words the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When Brahmaji was doing creation, he chanted these words, Om Tat Sat. And therefore, the same principle has always been being followed by disciplic succession. So this hymn, Om Tat Sat, has great significance. And therefore, Bhagavad Gita recommends that any work should be done for Om Tat Sat or for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When one performs penance, charity, and sacrifice with these three words, he is acting in Krishna consciousness. So now we can understand how to do Yad Karoshi, going back to the first verse, and to do it in a way that is an offering to Krishna. We accompany our activities with these three words, Om Tat Sat. Now, in the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, we are taught the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra as a substitute for Om Tat Sat. There is no problem with that, because the Hare Krishna Mahamantra includes the essence of Om Tat Sat. But there is no problem in chanting both. How much time it takes to add Om Tat Sat? Hardly 1.5 seconds. That's okay. Up to us, either Hare Krishna or Om Tat Sat or both, whatever. Srila Prabhupada, I can show you, let me show here. In his Srimad Bhagavatam, the most important work of Srila Prabhupada, he ended it with I think the preface or the introduction, let's see. He ends it with Om Tat Sat, you can see here. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. His next most important work that he composed, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela. It's a long preface. Om Tat Sat, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. So our founder Acharya is following the example. And if you search for Hare Krishna, you will find it 10 times anyway so both. So like this, we can also practice spiritualizing our activities by chanting Hare Krishna and Om Tat Sat. And that's the end. Om Tat Sat, Hare Krishna. Any comments or questions? Okay. So now we will perform Aarti of Bhagwan, where we all get a chance to chant Hare Krishna. So let us do that. Again, best is with full feeling in our heart. But even if that is not possible, then at least chant from our mouth loudly. Don't let your lips stay quiet. Then that is neither from heart nor from mouth. At least from mouth, and add the heart if possible. And practice to add it from our heart as much as possible. So then we can make progress on our path of spiritual life or our path of bhakti. So I have provided this sort of one aspect of the summary of Bhagavad Gita, of how to please Bhagavan Krishna. Bhagavad Gita is all about making progress in spiritual life. Making progress in spiritual life means to please Bhagavan Krishna. And Bhagavan Krishna says that when we do our activities by remembering Him or doing the activities as an offering to Him, good activities, not sinful activities, then we become dear to Him. And therefore, the way to do that is to accompany those activities by accompanying them with Hare Krishna or Om Tat Sat. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
ఏంటి ఎన్ని సెల్ఫ్ ఇది కావాలి
Thank you.